Guys, first one is basically we have 5 over 2 equals 1 over x minus 1, 3 over x plus 2. This is a solve question, right? Solve for x. So we can do it two ways. We can do the 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, and then after the 3 lines are done, we can then cross multiply. It's the way I'd prefer to do it. You can also do it by the lowest denominator method, but they're basically the same thing. 1 by x plus 2 plus 3 by x minus 1, all divided by the last line, which is x minus 1 by x plus 2. Okay, you're going to have to multiply these out now.
Let's cancel straight away.
They cancel. Why would you think they can cancel? Alright guys, here we go. Next part, multiply out. You're going to get x plus 2 plus 3x minus 3. On the bottom, you're going to multiply them out. You're going to get x squared. You're going to get a plus 2x, and then you're going to get minus 1x in the middle, which gives you plus 1x. And then finally you're going to multiply minus 1 by 2 and you get minus 2. That's all going to be over 5 over 2. Now, you can just tidy this up a little on top. There's no need to write out a full other line, okay? So what you can do next is you can just say, look, it's 4x minus 1 on top. Because 1x plus 3x is 4x, 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Okay, now cross multiply. Bring the 2 up and bring this up here. So you're going to get 5 times x squared, 5x squared. 5 times 1x is 5x. 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. On the other side, you're going to get 2 multiplied by 4x minus 1. 8x minus 2. Okay? Then you're going to bring it all to one side. We're going to get a 5x squared. Bring this over. We should get minus 3x. Bring the minus 2 over. And it comes to a plus 2, so we should get minus 8 equals 0. Okay, factorize this. The reference number, I'm pretty sure we can do it by a reference number. 8 multiplied by 5 minus 40. Break up the reference number into 2 numbers that multiply together to give you 40. But when you subtract minus 40, but when you subtract them, they give you minus 3. It's going to be minus 8 and plus 5. Next, put them in together. 5x squared plus 5x minus 8x minus 8 equals 0. Factorize them. 5x into x plus 1. Second bracket automatically the same. What goes in here?
8.
Minus 8. Finally, 5x minus 8. Bracket x plus 1 equals 0. Split them up in half. 5x minus 8 equals 0. Bring it over to your side. 5x equals 8. Okay. Divide down to 5. 8 equals x equals 8 over 5. The other side, split it in half. You got x plus 1 equals 0. Bring it over to 1. X equals minus 1. How many people got that? Once again, I'm going to do the 3 lines method, okay? Just because for me, I just think it just makes it really easy. You just follow everything. There's pretty much no thinking involved, okay? So all you got to do is m into x plus 2m minus 2m into x minus m. All of that equals a 10th. And on the bottom, we're going to have x minus m brackets x plus 2m. Okay, now we're going to multiply these out. mx 2m squared minus 2mx plus 2m squared. Divide everything by, sorry, just give me a second with that. Sorry, 2mx minus plus 2m squared. Okay, just keep an eye on it. Just go over all the multiplication I do, just to make sure there's nothing suspicious there that you think is wrong or right. Okay, x by x, x squared x by 2m
Minus mx.
2mx, and then minus mx, and then minus 2m squared equals 1 over 10. Now, what we can do next is we can tidy this up here. This part here, 2mx minus mx is plus 1mx, or just mx. Okay, so on top it's going to be 10. We're going to cross multiply now using our two lines. 10 multiplied by, we're going to tidy this up a little, 2m squared plus 2m squared. Okay, so it's 4m squared, mx minus 2mx minus mx, and that's going to equal 1 multiplied by x squared
Minus 2m.
plus mx minus 2m squared. Okay, now what we're going to get here is 40m squared minus 10mx equals x squared plus mx minus 2m squared. Okay, well, the whole key to the question is it wants x on its own. Okay, so we're going to figure this out. So I'm going to, guys, I'm going to switch it around. So I'm just doing a switch where everything is still the same, but I have the x squared over the other side. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is bring everything over to the left. So I should get x squared plus mx, that's plus 10mx when I bring it over to the other side. And then I'm going to have minus 2m squared minus 40m squared. Okay, now I'm going to get x squared plus 11mx minus 42m squared. Yeah, just 1 second. For this one here, it's equal to 0. Now, in a test, you might be confused as how to do this, okay? If you were just to pretend that the m's weren't there for a start, okay? You'd have something like this, alright? And your reference number would be minus 42. Your reference number would be minus 42. And that would be 3 and 14, okay? Now, because it's plus 11, it'd be plus 14 minus 3. Okay, so the answer would have been x minus 3, x plus 14. Now, however, this is not what we're solving. We're actually solving something that has m's in it, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the only difference. You more or less do exactly the same technique, except because there's an m here, 3 multiplied by 14, it should be minus 3m multiplied by plus 14m. What's 3m multiplied by 14m? Minus 42m squared. So you're basically just doing the same technique you always do, except there's an m there. When you multiply it out, it will still form 11mx in the middle. So it's actually exactly the same.
So you're just ignoring the end, basically.
I can basically ignore the extra letter.
Part of it. Yeah.
I'm doing part of it, then I'll put it back in at the end. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do more examples of it now in a second, right?
I get it.
Now, what we can do next is, guys,
are you going to express then x in terms
I'm going to express x in terms of m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say x minus 3m equals 0. Bring it over to 3m. X will equal 3m. Then finally, x plus 14m equals 0. X equals minus 14m.
You don't have to do the x plus 14m equals 0 step, do you?
If you can do it yourself, that's grand, but people in this class like all the steps done, so that's why I'm doing it. Okay. The product of two positive consecutive odd integers. Let one of them be x, and remember the gap between odd integers has to be 2. So the next one has to be x plus 2. Now, find the integers. Okay, they have to be positive. So x has to be a positive number. So the product means multiply them. X by x plus 2. Then read the next part of the question. Is 1 less than 6 times their sum equals 6 times their sum is when you add them together and you multiply by 6. If you take 1 away from this, it equals the product. Now you have your equation, now it's multiplication time. Okay, x squared plus 2x equals, I know, Rory, x squared plus 2x equals, okay, this here is going to be 2x plus 2, multiply it by 6, 12x plus 12, take away the 1. Take away the 1, it becomes 11. Okay, bring everything over one side. X squared, the 12x comes over, becomes minus 12x. X squared minus 10x minus 11 equals 0. Then what we're going to get here is we got to factorize. The reference number is minus 11. The reason why it's minus 11 is the first number is 1, the last number is 11, minus 11 is minus 11. Divide it up into two numbers.
10 and 1.
Sorry, it's 11 and 1, because you have to multiply to get minus 11. It has to be minus 10. So that means it's minus 11 plus 1, because minus 11 plus 1 is minus 10. You can do the short version of the reference number because it's 1x squared as opposed to 2 or 3x squared. And then finally your answer will be x equals 11 or x equals minus 1. The answer is not allowed to be minus 1 because in the question it says positive integer. The other integer is x plus 2. X plus 2 is 13. The answer to this question is 11 and 13. Okay, and third, this is the perimeter of a rectangle. The rectangle is the following. Okay, the rectangle has a perimeter of 14 over x divided by 15. The lengths are x plus 2 over 3. So this is going to be x plus 2 over 3, x plus 2 over 3. This here is the width, that's the width. When you add them all together, it gives you 14x over 15. So 2 times the width plus 2 times, brackets, x plus 2 over 3 has to equal 14x over 15. Now, what you can do next is the following. 2w equals, multiply that out. Oh, sorry. Sorry, just skipped a step there. We don't have to be doing that. 2w plus 2x plus 4 all over 3 equals 14x minus 15. Bring over this full thing, bring it all over the other side. Okay? 2w therefore has to be equal to 14x over 15 minus 2x plus 4 over 3. You can see here that they haven't got a common denominator. To change it in the common denominator, I've got to multiply the bottom by 5. And if I multiply the bottom by 5, I must multiply the top by 5. 2w is now equal to 14x over 15. Yes, Simon? So, minus, multiply, now this is the hard part, okay? What we're going to do in this line is, we're actually going to make sure that it's one big line, okay? And the one big line has a 15 underneath it, because they're now both 15, aren't they? So this is 14x minus 5 times 2x minus 10x minus 5 times plus 4 minus 20. 2w therefore is equal to 4x minus 20 over 15. You want w on its own, bring down the 2. W therefore is equal to 4x minus 20 divided by 30. Now, what you can do in your calculator is it's the same thing as 4x over 30 minus 20 over 30. So what you can do is you can divide it by, you can divide everything top and bottom by 2 if you want. Divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2. And you'll get 2x minus 10 over 15. That's what w is equal to. How many people got that out?
Still.
3, 4. Well done. 4 people.
Sorry, I was on the right.
Here we go. A boat travels at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour in still water. It travels 48 kilometers upstream. So it goes upstream 48 kilometers. And then returns to the starting point in a total of 5 hours. Find the speed of the current. Now, the thing that you need to realize about current is when there's a current, upstream means you're going against the current, right? And downstream means you're going with it. So, although you can go 20 kilometers per hour, on the way up, you're going to be going faster or slower? Slower. On the way back, you're going to be faster or slower? Faster. So look, guys, we'll break it down to a really easy question starting off. I can go 10 kilometers per hour up a stream. I can go 10 kilometers per hour in still water. The stream is going 3 kilometers per hour. On the way up, when I'm going against the stream, how fast am I going? And when I'm going with the stream, 13. So you subtract it on the way upstream, and you add it when you're going downstream. Okay, that's grand. So therefore, the whole point of the question is, we don't know what the speed of the current is. If we don't know the value of something, what letter do we associate with it? X. We don't know it, so it's X.
Where did 484 come from?
Sorry?
Where did 484 come from?
48 kilometers.
48 kilometers.
Sorry.
Okay. So, guys, what's going to happen is the following. Okay? Same distance both ways, stream. Okay? This is probably a bit more amped. Okay? So you're going up and you're going down. So, on the way up, your speed is 20 minus X, because you're going upstream. Okay? On the way back, your speed is 20 plus X. Does the distance change?
No.
You do 48 k's on the way up and 48 k's on the way back. Now, there's a formula for time. Excuse me. Time equals distance divided by speed. Now, what's the time for the way up? So we call this T1 for the way up and T2 for the way back. No, because you're going faster, remember?
Yes.
It's different speeds. Although you're the same in still water, it takes you longer to go upstream than it does to go downstream. So,
You can take
time.
The whole thing's equal to.
No. Distance is
Yes.
48. And what's your speed on the way up? Speed on the way up is 20 minus X. Okay? T2. On the way back, it's going to be 48 divided by 20 plus X. Now remember, your formula is total time equals time taken for a way up. So total time equals T1 plus T2. Okay? Basically, total time is the time taken going upstream and the time taken going downstream. Therefore, the number 5, which is 5 hours, has to be equal to 48 over 20 minus X plus 48 divided by 20 plus X. As predicted, you're going to use an algebra fraction to do the question. Right? They won't have it in this section otherwise. You're going to do your 3 lines. Okay? And what you're going to get is 5 equals 48 into 20 plus X plus 48 into 20 minus X all over 20 plus X, 20 minus X, or 20 minus X, 20 plus X. Now we're used to that. They're big numbers, which is one of the downfalls of the question. 5 equals 48 times 20, 960. 48 times X, 48X. 48 times 20, another 960. 48 times minus X, minus 48X. On the bottom is the difference of 2 squares. How do I know it's the difference of 2 squares? Because it's minus in one bracket and plus in the other. So what it's going to turn out to be, when you multiply this out, you can multiply them all out individually if you want. Okay, so what you'll get is, I'll just write up here in the corner, 400 plus 20x minus 20x minus x squared. You see the 20x's will cancel. It'll end up with 400 minus x squared. Now, the 48x's cancel, and what you're going to be left with is multiplying all of this by 5. All of this is going to get multiplied by 5. So what's 400 multiplied by 5? Anybody?
1600.
2000 minus 5x squared. Then 960 plus 960.
1,900.
Okay. Then bring the 2000 over the other side. Take away the 2000, and what are we left with? We're going to be left with
80.
minus 80. Therefore, 5x squared has to equal 80. Divided by 5. X squared equals 16. X can equal two things.
Root 16. 4 plus minus 4.
X can equal plus or minus 4. Why can it not equal minus 4?
Because
It's the speed of a current. Okay? X equals 4. So the speed of the current is 44 kilometers per hour. Okay? So, example would be 72 people attend the first night of a concert. They were seated in rows, each of which contained X people. So 72 people were broken up into rows. Each row had X people. I don't know how many rows there was. Okay? The following even, 80 people attended the concert and they were seated in rows containing X plus 2 people. If on the second night there was one less row needed than the first night, the following even, 80 people attended the concert and they were seated in rows containing X plus 2 people. If on the second night there was one less row needed than on the first night, calculate the number of rows needed on each night. First things first, right? Number of rows. Okay, so number of rows required would equal people, or total number of people, divided by what? Total people divided by?
X.
Or X.
Number of people per row. Got it? So we're doing it in English. We're not even bringing in algebra. Yeah. Number of people per row. Everybody in this class could do that. You've probably done it in the past where you're organising an event. Okay? Now, let's just do it on a first night and second night basis. Okay? First night, we'll do it in blue. First night. So the first night, the number of rows equals what? We don't know what the number of rows are, do we?
No.
So we just say number of rows. That's no problem. Number of rows on the first night equals total people. How many people did we have? 72 on the first night. Number of people per row, anybody? X. That's all we can write down. That's marks in the bag right there. Second night. Second night, number of rows. So, how do we get the number of rows for the second night?
X.
80 over X plus 2.
80 over X plus 2. Because there's 80 people, and now there's X plus 2 people per row. Now, the final formula, and this is the hard part to get, is number of rows on the first, if on the second night there was one less row. Okay? So, number of rows, night 1, minus number of rows, night 2. What would that equal?
Did you notice that number of rows night 1?
Minus number of rows
no.
on night 2.
Sorry, what am I thinking here? I think it's different. What I'm thinking is
Now look, which one had more rows? Night 1 had more rows. It had one more row. So that means number of rows on night 1 minus number of rows on night 2 has to equal 1. Therefore we have an equation ready to go. So the equation is going to be this. Night 1, number of rows on night 1 minus number of rows on night 2. Paddy, wake up please. Okay, equals 1. So what we're going to get is the following. We're going to cross multiply and multiply out the bottom. So we're going to get is 72 into X plus 2 minus 80 into X all over X into X plus 2. All of that will have to equal 1. We're going to get 72X plus 144. When you multiply them out, you're going to get minus 80X on the top. This here is X squared plus 2X, isn't it? When you multiply it out. Yeah? Cross multiply it up. Rory? cross multiply that up, and you get x squared plus 2x. Okay? Now, bring everything over to one side. So I'll just bring everything here. Actually, sorry, I'll do a tidy up first because it's a bit on the sloppy side. So tell me 2x minus 80x is? Minus 8x. So it's minus 8x plus 144 equals x squared plus 2x. Bring it over to the other side. We're going to get x squared. Bring over the 8x, you get plus 10x. Bring over the 144, you get minus 144. Now, we're going to get 0 equals that. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Which is the same thing as this thing equals.
Yeah.
So I can just get rid of the 0 over the other side. It's like doing a switch and bringing everything over to one side, at the same time. Now we have a reference number of minus 100 and
34.
we have a reference number of minus 144. Now we got to figure out two numbers that multiply to get that, but they differ by 10. So let's start off nice and easy. We have 12 and 12 won't work. 4, how many times does 4 go into that?
36.
36, that won't work. How many times does 8 go into it?
18.
18, that's the one we're looking for, 8 and 18. So it's going to be x plus 18. X minus 8 equals 0. So, x therefore equals 8. Can x equal minus 18?
No.
Because you can't have a negative amount of rows. Okay guys, going to stop that.